Some nights the phone doesn't ring, it breathes. A tremor on the table. A small glass sigh, the city humming like it always does when you're too awake to sleep. You know that pattern by heart. 2 buzzes, a pause, then the name that drags the past back by the sleeve. You stare as if the screen were a little window opening onto the old ache. Your thumb knows what yes feels like. Your body remembers the heat that arrives fast and leaves a bill. Not all connection connects. Sometimes it knots. Sometimes it wraps around the part of you trying to grow and pulls tight. There is comfort in answering, and there is a cost that waits in the morning. Tallying what you spent to feel less alone at 1:13 a.m. Here is the paradox we almost never admit out loud. Turning down warmth to keep your fire. Refusing the easy blanket so the coals inside don't smother. Choosing the loneliness that heals over the company that hollows. You can hear your better self, practical as an old friend, whispering, "Hold on, hold back, Schopenhauer would be unsentimental about this moment." Desire, he said, is a blind pull, the world's hands dragging us by the shirt buttons. He wouldn't blame you for wanting. He would simply name it, point to the leash and ask whether you are walking it or it is walking you. Refusal isn't cynicism. It's curation. You're not scorning love, you're selecting for it. You're making room for a shape that fits, a voice that doesn't tremble your boundaries loose. You're letting silence steep until it tastes like strength. You let the phone breathe without you. You let the city hum. You wait with it steady and awake. There's one sentence that cools a crowded heart. Later. Let's get clear about the words. Refusing love isn't refusing care. It's refusing the frantic itch that mistakes closeness for oxygen. Devotion shows up with groceries, asks real questions, and lets you breathe. Dependency shows up with a stopwatch, counts your replies, and calls that counting romance. Affection feels like warm tea on a grey afternoon. Anesthesia feels like a thick blanket thrown over your alarms, so you stop hearing yourself think. You might recognize this. Once there was a season when a relationship ate your calendar. Lunch became a check-in. Evening became repair. Weekends became weather reports on someone else's mood. You kept promising yourself a quiet hour for your craft, but the hour kept getting traded for conflict management and apology tours. The work thinned. Your sentences walked with a limp. You didn't lose talent. You mortgaged it to keep turbulence from throwing dishes. So when you say no now, it's not cruelty. It's calibration. You're not cold. You're protecting signal. You're guarding the narrow band where your best thinking survives. Boundaries aren't walls. They're the shape that lets the house stand. A needy yes buys peace by the minute and sends you the bill in days you don't get back. Refusal isn't exile. It's a filter. It says, I'm here for connection that cooperates with my life, not commandeers it. It welcomes care that respects your calendar, your quiet, your slow, strange projects that don't make sense to anyone else yet. It asks love to walk, not drag, to light, not burn, to steady, not sedate. If that sounds unromantic, good. We're removing the stage smoke so you can see the furniture and not trip on it. There's tenderness in this practicality, and there's relief. Schopenhauer had a name for the engine behind this pull. The will. He lived mostly alone, a coat like a curtain against the wind, walking the same streets with a stubborn patience. In rooms stacked with books and quiet, he studied the way wanting turns into weather, how a cloud of craving gathers, breaks, and gathers again. He called it the will. Not romance, not ethics, just the engine beneath the face we show. To read him is to hear a low drum. Your life thumps to a beat you didn't choose unless you step a half pace back. Here is his simple, unfashionable map. Craving is endless. Satisfaction is brief. Peace begins when the grip loosens. Every yes to impulse recruits another. Every no weakens the drill sergeant who lives behind your ribs. None of this requires scowling at pleasure. It asks a softer experiment. What happens if you let the tug pass like weather, and watch what remains. Try a small scene. The message arrives late. You feel the old siren in the jaw. You breathe, count 4, put the phone face down and tell the ceiling, not tonight. 10 minutes later, you're surprised by quiet. You sleep. Morning comes without apology letters, without the thin hangover of self-betrayal. Coffee tastes like coffee, not truce. You feel a notch sturdier, like timber after the storm has left it standing. What you stop needing stops ruling. The sentence lands like a key in an ordinary door. Freedom here isn't fireworks. It's the steady room you get back, the chair waiting for your work, the afternoon that isn't auctioned to a ping. Step back 1 pace and the drum softens. Step back 2 and you notice you can choose the next step at all. Bring a pen. We'll keep it gentle, brief and practical. We'll try a 2-minute ritual he might have liked. Think of a magnet on a sheet of paper, iron filings scattered like tiny chances. When the magnet settles, the filings lean, slide and click into lines. Need works like that. Attention tilts. Thoughts rearrange themselves along the strongest pull. You aren't weak when you feel it. You're conductive. The pattern is physics before it is drama, and physics can be mapped, anticipated, navigated. When hunger shows up, any hunger, vision narrows. The world becomes a tunnel aimed at relief. We mistake proximity for promise, speed for wisdom, quantity for care. Dignity does something different. It widens the view. It opens side doors and windows, lets you see costs, alternatives and timing. Dignity says, I can wait 10 minutes, and in those minutes, new routes appear. You're still hungry, but you're steering. So let's reframe longing. It isn't an enemy. It's a compass with a jittery needle. It points toward warmth, belonging, recognition, rest. Useful directions, all of them. But a compass beside a running speaker jumps. A compass near metal lies. Calibration matters. You adjust for interference, fear, fatigue, history, flattery, and the reading clears. Then desire becomes information instead of orders. Here's a small practice. When you feel the rush, name the vector. Toward what? Away from what? Ask what the price of now will be tomorrow morning. Ask what the price of later will be tonight. Your body knows the difference between a bridge and a rip current. Listen for that knowledge returning to your hands. Replace shame with curiosity. Replace speed with sequence. First, breathe. Second, look wider. Third, choose the smallest move that protects tomorrow while treating tonight with respect. This isn't coldness. It's temperature control. And people can feel it. We'll test this in a conversation soon. Watch respect rise when you hold pace. You'll like what happens next. They said your name like a secret they'd finally been allowed to keep. Compliments poured fast, bright as city neon, and your pulse answered. Intensity can feel like destiny when you're tired of being ordinary. You smiled, but you did something new. You slowed the scene. You asked one true question, the kind that cuts through perfume. How will this sweetness protect my life when the music stops? Their eyes flickered. The tempo changed. The room told the truth. Refusing the beautiful trap isn't a loss, it's selection. A boundary is hospitality to your becoming, a quiet table set for the person you're growing into. Admiration without alignment is a bouquet with no water, gorgeous, thirsty, done by morning. You deserve a love that doesn't invoice your hour. You deserve a calendar that still knows your name a month from now. Picture a montage. 10 sweet distractions text you into a glow, a brunch that stretches, a late-night surge of praise, a weekend detour through someone else's weather, an afternoon decoding mixed signals, a driveway talk that eats twilight, a cycle of apologies, a reconciliation like fireworks. Another check-in, another reassurance, another promise. Count the glitter. Now place beside it one steady craft hour. Door closed, spine tall, tools settling into your hands. Watch that hour throw a quiet rope across tomorrow. When you say no to admiration that won't help carry the day, you aren't rejecting love. You're rejecting debt. You're trusting that devotion can be warm and useful, bright and kind to your time. You're turning down sparkler smoke for a hearth you can cook by. Keep the door unlocked. Keep the standards clear. Keep your hands free for the work you came to do. Let patience measure what praise cannot. There's a single sentence for rooms on fire. Some evenings arrive with a soft ache, not a crisis. The kettle clicks, steam threads the quiet, and the window holds a rectangle of gentle light. You sit without performing. There's a book on your lap, and tonight you actually finish a page without checking for a sound that isn't there. The room doesn't judge your pace. It lets your breath choose the length it needs. The ache is present, yes, but it isn't a verdict. It's weather passing through a town that knows how to keep lamps lit. Loneliness isn't the enemy. The enemy is abandoning yourself to outrun it. Acute loneliness is a body signal, a flare that says find warm company soon. Chronic self-betrayal is different. It starts when you trade your boundaries for constant noise and call the noise safety. These quiet nights retrain your system. Absence becomes practice, the capacity to sit with yourself until the static thins and your own voice grows audible again. Let this feel ordinary. Tea cooling slowly, a pen uncapped, the small courage of staying. When you do nothing dramatic, your nerves settle like snow in a globe after the shaking stops. You remember you like your own company. You remember unfinished projects that don't need fireworks, only another unglamorous half hour of honest attention. Your slowness is craftsmanship. The world that hurries you will not build you. The hour that steadies you will. There's relief available here. You don't have to be cured of longing to be trustworthy with it. You only have to stop sprinting away from the seat you already occupy. Tonight you finish the page. You rinse the cup. You turn off the bright screen that begs for your midnight. You face the hunger, nod, and keep your hands. Next, a night ritual to return to center before you reply. At dusk, you find the old stone bridge, the one that doesn't care who crosses. The river speaks in moving silver. You stand still. You place both feet on the worn middle stone and let weight settle the argument inside your chest. Cars hiss in the distance. Birds sketch homeward lines, and your phone waits like a spark in your pocket. Water moves. You don't. Here is the practice. 3 moves, 2 minutes, a lifetime of difference. First, breathe. Slow enough to feel the ribs widen. Long enough to notice space return behind your eyes. Second, name the aim. Say aloud what you are trying to keep alive. Sleep. Tomorrow's work. A promise to yourself not to bleed for speed. Third, price the yes. Count the hours it will borrow, the mornings it will bruise, the tasks it will shove aside. Ask also what a no will cost, and whether that price is strength. You are not depriving yourself. You are sharpening choice. On the bridge, time loosens its grip, and the pulse of wanting becomes readable. You can see its color, its direction, its habit of calling everything urgent. You can hear the younger fear beneath it, whispering you must take what arrives or be forgotten. Answer as the owner, not the orphan. Owners steward fuel. Orphans hoard kindling and burn the map. Stay until your shoulders quit holding court and drop. Stay until the phone's glow looks like weather, not order. When you move, move once cleanly. If you choose yes, make it a yes that will like you in the morning. If you choose no, close the gate gently and feel the bridge hold. The river keeps talking. You keep your pace. Let dignity keep time and measure your step. Bring this bridge into the conversation test. The message lands. Can we talk tonight? It's late and your chest is an empty cupboard. You want to fix the ache with a quick yes, but the bridge is under your shoes now and the river is doing the rushing for you. You answer slower than the impulse and everything begins to settle. You mirror one fact. I hear you want to talk. No analysis, no autopsy. Then the boundary. I'm spent tonight and won't be present. Clean, not cruel. Finally, the honest alternative. Tomorrow after lunch I can give you a focused half hour, or we can write and pick this up Friday. 3 pieces, 1 tone. No apology for needing fuel to drive. Watch the room adjust. The old urgency exhales. Their replies shorten. Their temperature drops. You feel your shoulders remember gravity belongs to steady pacing, not to alarms. This is the physics of need in practice. When you widen time, dignity enters, and attention flows toward clarity instead of heat. You didn't win an argument. You hosted one well. They try again. It's important. You mirror again. It matters to you, and repeat the shape. I'll be clear in the morning. If it can't wait, maybe write what you need me to know. Respect rises because you didn't abandon yourself to purchase peace. Drama drains because there's no spectacle to feed. If you choose yes later, it will be a yes with chairs set and lights calm. If you choose no, it will be a no with doors unlocked for what's truly mutual. Either way, you remain the steward of your fuel, not the flare. The river moves. You keep your pace. The phone rests without ruling. Your breath returns to its rightful size. Here it is, simple enough to carry in a pocket. I'm going to pause here and respond when I can be clear. No theatrics, no blame. It names your pace and leaves oxygen in the room right now. Said softly. It cools the sparks without drowning the fire you might tend later with real care. Picture the chaotic call. Voices climb stairs. Details multiply and your chest sprints. You use the sentence. The line lands like a hand on a railing. Breath returns again. The tempo drops from siren to conversation. You aren't running away. You're setting the table for a talk that won't cost next week. Authority is the quiet that survives pressure. The sentence makes that quiet audible. It is a lever, small, precise, patient. And it's honest. You really will respond, and you'll do it from a steadier chair. In the meantime, restless weather can pass without turning you into it. Schopenhauer would recognize the move. The will wants now. You loosen its grip by lengthening the frame. The instant you stop obeying urgency, you gain willpower, the ability to choose a response instead of performing a reflex. One line used consistently becomes a doorway back to ownership. Repetition is the craft. Every time you speak the sentence, you lay another stone in a walkway called character. People around you learn the rhythm. They meet you there. You learn it too. And the habit begins to hold even when you forget to ask it to. The room remembers before you do. Keep the words where you can reach them. Write them inside your palm if you must. Try them tonight if a storm arrives. Then again tomorrow and again after that until they sound like you. Next, we'll give this quiet a place to live in your routines. Over weeks, the air changes. There are fewer entanglements, fewer midnight negotiations pretending to be love. Your calendar opens small clearings where work breathes and deepens. Pages stack. Tools find their places. Mornings arrive with edges you can trust. Coffee tastes like a beginning, not a bandage. Friends notice the way you listen without buying peace with pieces of yourself. You notice the way your body stands at its full height. Weather still shifts, but you're less carried by it. More boat than leaf. Then the phone again, same number, same hour. You feel the tremor without the old tilt. The bridge stands where you left it, and your breath reaches for it first. 2 minutes of stone and river. You price the yes, you name the aim, you choose the pace that will like you tomorrow. The message you send is small and clean. The night keeps its shape. Strength here isn't hard. It's durable. It stays when the room cools, when praise thins, when no one is looking. It builds the self that can hold the right love without dropping the rest of your life. The people who practice this begin to recognize one another. Steady eyes, unhurried replies, warmth that doesn't leak. It is a rare, patient tribe, and there is room for you at the table. So take the gentle charge, bridge before reply, before decision, before sleep. Let time widen. Let dignity move first. When urgency shouts, answer in your pace. Guard your needing. Your loving will become true. The river keeps talking. The city hums. Some nights the phone will breathe again, and you will meet it from the height you earned, with hands that know their tools and a calendar that knows your name. Walk with us. We'll keep the lamps lit.